Moving over to the Detroit Pistons.
Another fun team to talk about. They won 20 games last year. Excuse me. 20 games last year. They actually moved a lot. They lost a lot of players. Bruce Brown, Luke Kennard, Kyrie Thomas, Tony Snell, Christian Wood, Langston Galloway, John Henson, Brandon Knight, Ton Maker, Jordan McRae, Darren Walton, Jordan Bone, and Louis King. And they're left with 5 players.
What?
Yeah, they cleaned house.
Shit.
They cleaned house. They added a lot of players in the draft. Actually, they got 4 picks in the draft this year. Killian Hayes, 7th overall. Very interesting player. Then Isaiah Stewart and Bay, 16th and 19th overall, respectively. Saban Lee, 38th, second round, obviously. They got DeLon Wright, Musa Magruder, and Dedmon.
Oh, Dedmon, yes.
Yeah. Guys, this is not really an X factor in this team. The only thing that I do always look forward when I watch the Pistons play is just watching D-Rose play. He's a 4VP. Let's not forget about that. So that's it, guys. Killian Hayes, the rookie, if he can learn a percentage of a small percentage of what Derrick Rose has to give, he's going to be a good player. Yeah. And we might see a good couple plays from Blake. Bottom of the table again. Not much to say.
Yeah, I think they, more than anyone, has sort of embraced the rebuild. You can tell by the players that they let go. And then they've brought in youth, as you've said. So I think they have leaned right into the artist formerly known as tanking. And I'm sure that they'll try and ride out the Blake Griffin contract somehow, some way. If they could move him, they would. But he's going to have to get on the Chris Paul health diet and put in a good season for them to be able to trade him.
Yeah.
And then they can go all in on that rebuild.
Yeah, I think the identity of the team has just been destroyed. Obviously Bad Boys is a figment of our imagination. Paying off, Reggie Jackson and, other players to leave the team and still pay them ridiculous salaries just kind of said it all, really. But I don't know. I don't know what their plans are, what they're really trying to do, because I see the people that they've got coming over, they're probably leaving the next couple of years anyway. So I think, where's that, like you said, Blake Griffin, Derrick Rose, all kind of veterans and all kind of, stalwarts, great players in their own rights and in their heydays, but they're kind of, feeding off injuries and such. So it's going to be tough to kind of really create that identity that Detroit really needs to then acquire or to even nurture better players. So, Christian Wood, he was a decent player. He came through, but now they've let him go. So it's just makes you wonder really what they're thinking and what's going to happen. So
yeah, they're hard to read. I don't really know what the expectations are over there. I just hope they're not going to mess Killian Hayes. I mean, if they can play, give him a lot of minutes, that'll be great. Because they've got nothing to win, nothing to lose in that season. I mean, they can finish. There's nothing to play for them, really. There's no expectations also for them to do anything. So just get the rookies to play, trying to get them to become good, solid players. Let's see what that takes you, Get rid of Griffin in it.
Yeah.
Well, how long has he got left? 1 year, 2 years in his contract?
I think that's it. They did bring in, and I'm sorry I skipped it, Mason Plumlee and Jaleel Okafor.
And that contract that they paid Plumlee was insane. I don't know who they were competing against in the market.
I think that Plumlee's agent is a wizard.
Yeah. Get him a raise.
When it comes to negotiating.
He must be. Man. So we move on to our penultimate team, an interesting one in the Atlanta Hawks.
Indeed.
Yes. Atlanta Hawks. I think they're actually like one of my teams to watch last season. I think, you have to kind of give it up for kind of Trae Young in particular. Obviously, he's kind of a great kind of entertaining player. He just hasn't proven that he's a winner. as yet. I think they only won 20 games last season.
20.
So 20 games. And, obviously him and John Collins, I think the John Collins kind of drug situation at the beginning of the season definitely took them the wrong way, because they had a couple of games where they started well, then they just had a little kind of downward spiral. A good couple of young guns in, obviously, Cam Reddish and Bruno Fernando and Kevin Herter as well. But I think, like you mentioned earlier, Bogdanovic is joining them. We've got Gallinari, Chris Dunn, defensively is a good pickup. Rajon Rondo is going to provide a lot of kind of mentor, kind of leadership to Trae Young. So I think they've got that mixture now where it's not just youth. I think they've kind of got some kind of experience. And I think Vince Young was a little bit too old to, to actually do any damage on the court, But I think, so they've got the kind of mentorship, leadership, particularly for Trae Young, because I think he's a liability on defense. So I think try and use him in the ways that will just be much more effective. So I think this could be a breakout season, definitely, for the Atlanta. If they stay healthy, if John Collins is smart, I think he's got like ridiculous hops that I've ever seen and stuff, and catches alley-oops like nobody in the league. It was almost like Blake Griffin when Blake Griffin was Blake Griffin. And, so I think the key, obviously, Trae Young, it's the veterans buying into that. It's Trae's team. You know what I mean? Because I think if they try and take away some of that glitz and glam away from Trae, he may not be that great facilitator that he can be. You know what I mean? So I think you've got to keep his ego up high and stuff. And I think also X factor on that team maybe is Lloyd Pierce, the coach. I think he's so used to kind of being that daddy kind of mentor that he needs to start coaching now. He needs to start winning ball games. He needs to start being accountable for their losses. I think too much of it was put on this situation, the young Bucks. I think, no, him as a coach, it's time for him to step up. So I can see them maybe squeeze into maybe 10th, 9th position. Maybe if they get, I think they'll be probably the most dangerous team in the playing situation if they make it that far.
Yeah.
But I think they can have a stretch of like 5 games to 7 games continuously. I mean, I saw a game last season against the Nuggets where they played fantastic. Trae Wood had about 40 points, but they just couldn't finish it off. But I think this year they've got players that can finish off games where Trae doesn't have to be so ball hungry and ball dominant kind of all the time. So I'm going to watch them with kind of eagle eyes and stuff. And I think, they're a great team on paper now. And it should be fun. Definitely a fun team to watch.
I agree. Bogdanovic and Gallinari give Trae, first of all, they're not, they're players that are not selfish. They're going to pass the ball as much as is needed for the team that they have, again, and I'm all about the European players, and they have the European mindset where they're here to win. And they know that they're going to win if Trae scores more than 30 points per game, right? They're happy scoring whatever they need to score, passing the ball. They're not, again, the most athletic guys, especially Gallinari. He's getting a bit old, but they're solid shooters. And it's Clint Capella still in the team. Let's not forget that they have a fantastic defender in Capella. And Rondo, I think that they are, if not the biggest, one of the biggest winners of the free agency, talking about the East.
I think so. What, Patris? Do you get them just right outside the playoffs? So is that where you sort of
put
them?
I think so. I think it was a shame last season. I think they just need that little run, a couple of streaks to put in the confidence and to keep them going. I think they will steal a few games. I think they lost a few, like to Boston and to the Nuggets last season, which they could have won, but it just got down to crunch time. So I think they'll definitely, turn some heads this season.
Yeah, I see them slightly higher than that. I think between 5 and 8. I think I don't know. I really like what they've done, who they've signed. I think a lot of it makes sense. I think defensively they might not be like, okay, Clint's there. He can help protect the rim, but again, if they score 130 a game, they can probably go somewhere, in the East. I'm excited. There's going to be a lot more people watching the Hawks next season. I think they've done really well in terms of like marketing and rebranding the team, because they were, who talks about the Hawks? No one really, apart from CNN, who's there. But in terms of general media, there's nothing going for them. But I guess it'll be a great change of pace. If obviously if the team gels and they manage to take off and build something coherent on the court now after they've done a good summer transfer window. Let's talk football a bit, but I'm excited for them. I want to see that they there's something going on there also in terms of trying to make their image. Again, going back to marketing, where they're trying to sell their stuff now. They're trying to sell their products. They've released the new images for their new court. It looks absolutely amazing. If you've seen the new design, the jersey they look also amazing. So they've got everything going in the right directions. They managed to attract a bunch of players that are all confirmed player in the NBA. So there's unless there's a bunch of injuries in there, I don't see them being as crap as they were before. But certainly, hoping for them to get to another level, upper level.
Yeah, I think the crazy thing for them is that they've essentially kept their starting lineup from last season, but their whole entire starting lineup minus Trae Young could be their bench this season because of the players that they've brought in, and that's a really exciting prospect for the team. So we come to the final team. Bottom of the East was the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, I forgot about them.
LeBron's friends.
Still undefeated in the Eastern playoffs. The championship goes through them.
Yeah.
Let me switch screens. So this is a really weird team, weird roster to me. I think that's part of why they are where they are. When you look down the roster, I have them in order of salary, and Kevin Love is at the top, as he should be, followed by Andre Drummond, who opted in, I think, to his extra year on the contract. Then next up, you have Larry Nance Jr., Dante X, Cedi Osmond, and Darius Garland. And I just think after those first two names, it takes a dip. But also when you consider both of those players that I mentioned first in Love and Drummond are essentially centers now. Like Love can't stay in front of modern power forwards. And yeah, Drummond has always been a center. So their two highest paid and best players play the same position. And then you've got to drop off to the role players. And their problem last season, as Love would attest, was a lack of playmaking from their guards. So they started Darius Garland and where is he?
Sexton.
Colin Sexton. Yeah. And neither of them was too happy about passing the ball inside too much to their better players. So they just have this weird hodgepodge of young talent and old veterans, and it's just a really mixed bag at the forward positions, which are so important in today's league. They've just signed the rookie Isaac Okoro, who's shown some really good flashes on offense, and is a solid defender as well for his position, and maybe up one and down one. Really good perimeter defender. And then Porter Jr. has also shown, Kevin Porter Jr. has also shown some flashes of talent, but it's just going to be a matter of sort of molding the team into something that can be something in the future. I still don't think they have their star of the future in any of these young players. So I think it will be another season at the bottom, trying to find that player that can help them transcend.
There's a player that
can trade Kevin Knox. We can send Kevin Knox there.
That would change everything.
Yeah.
I've got a player. I was just going to say, sorry. There's a player in maybe 4 years' time when he retires. He may go there. You know what I'm talking about. LeBron makes his last visit to Cleveland. There you go. So,
third time's the charm.
Well, his son probably will be playing there. So it's like drafted by the Cavs.
You never know. They might play together. I think that the most exciting thing about Cleveland this year is going to be the rookies. What a shame. I mean, Kevin Love, man, he used to be such a good player. He's gone down, man.
Wow.
I think Kevin Love is. I won't say he's been overrated, but I think he's never really tapped into what made him a start in Minnesota. You know, obviously he jumped to Cleveland and, you know, didn't predict that LeBron would come and, you know, that Kyrie and whatnot. And he obviously had injuries as well. But I feel like Kevin Love has never really, I think as the NBA's changed, he hasn't changed. You know, he started hitting the threes and he had a few kind of breakout games, but he's never consistently kind of moved with the times. He's still that kind of back to the basket. I'm going to get, you know, rebounds and do long outlet passes. He's not really agile enough to kind of fit in with the more athletic way teams are going. So I think, you know, that's just been his downfall. But I think Cleveland have needed someone to put the franchise on their back, and he was the only one that stuck around. So hence why he got the big contract as well. And yeah, I think until he kind of goes, I think they'll probably just continue with the rebuild. But I think, you know, where's his trade value? That's the big question that they're probably asking right now about Kevin Love. So yeah,
I don't think he's got any left. So yeah. He's just another casualty of the LeBron train. You know,
LeBron effect.
Yeah. Leaves a wreckage behind him when he leaves. Yeah, so that's it, guys. We wrap that up.